So finally, I'd like to turn to Coline Laurent, who is working at Connecting Food. It's a platform that is powered by blockchain, and it offers digital transparency solutions that really do create value for agri-food players, enabling the rebuilding of confidence as well alongside in food for consumers. So what's great about what you're going to talk to us today, Coline, is it ties together a lot of what we've heard. We've got the digital that we heard from Tassos, the technology, we've got the transparency and the trust, which is critical, which we heard from Marion in the beginning, and of course this focus on the consumer that we've just heard from Richard. So tell us all about this fabulous startup and what you're doing.
So thank you for the introduction. So the first thing I wanted to share with you is that there is a digital revolution occurring today in the agri-food industry, as the previous speakers mentioned as well. It's driven by four main forces. The first one being, of course, consumer demands, with more than 75% of consumers that say they will change the brand if another brand were to provide more detailed information about where the product is from, what it contains, and so on. So this is a very strong demand for transparency. Then the second force is the sustainability, which is way more than a consumer trend. It's something very global that we all have to take action for. Legislation, as mentioned previously also, is taking action towards more digitalization, because the last and not the least force is efficiency. And it's probably the first driver that led any industry to digitalize, that is to improve supply chain resiliency and efficiency. So what Connecting Food and what blockchain has to do with all this is that blockchain technology has the power to leverage data that already exist to improve and to provide real-time traceability, which is the basis of transparency when we're talking about supply chain, and also digital audit of the data that we gather and store on the blockchain. And this increases supply chain efficiency, but it also rebuilds consumer trust. Because as you can see on the left part of the screen, so our platform is twofolded. We have a B2B dashboard, which is used by agri-food actors to better monitor their supply chain. And we also provide our clients with the opportunity to use a QR code on the product's packaging so that consumers on their side, in the end of the food supply chain, can scan it and discover all about the product, where it was from, how it was produced, harvested, and so on. So if you're wondering what QR codes have to do with blockchain, don't worry, it's very different. QR code does not mean blockchain. As a consumer, you might already have seen a lot of QR codes in store. Actually, any brand can provide storytelling information with a QR code. But if you look at this little drawing, what's underneath the surface of the water, what you can't see as a consumer, and that is all the previous food chain before the product is actually in your hands, being who are the producers, where are the crops from, who are the suppliers involved, where are the factories. For all this, to gather the data coming from these steps, you need third party in order to prove that it's really authentic and that it hasn't been counterfeited. And this is where blockchain is important. So because I know I don't have much time, I'll just jump to the real life use case I wanted to share with you. Some of you might recognize a very famous biscuit brand. This is a product that is currently in store in France. It has a QR code on the package, and when consumers scan it, they can discover the full journey of the wheat from the farms. And it's a plural because there is a lot of farms that come together to provide the wheat for this brand. They have a dynamic map. They can zoom in and see exactly which farm is implicated in the fabrication of this specific batch of biscuit, and the information changes for every batch. So this is the difference between storytelling, where you say, here is a picture of one of my farmers, and the marketing of proof, if we can say, using blockchain and providing real information about every batch of production. So this is for consumer, and on the B2B part, the actors of the chain get access to the data on a dashboard. So very quickly to conclude, we at Connecting Food, we work with brands and retailers, but we also work with upstream actors. And if we have one message to tell them to conclude is that digitalization is coming. So we are calling them to take action and to look at digitalization opportunities for them today.
Thank you so much, and for delivering that at speed. Now, I'm not going to stop and question you, and I could for hours because it's very fascinating. But what I do find very interesting is this link between the traceability along the chain and how that makes me feel as the consumer at the other end. And also to emphasise that if I want to scan those products at home, of course, I will have had some marketing. There are some campaigns going out to consumers to make them aware that they will have that possibility when they get those products to their households. Because as I said to you, we're all busy people at speed. I also found it very interesting that you onboard all of your suppliers along that food chain, all of the agri-food actors, and that's also why you are so trusted, because you are independent. So you are the marketing whiz there, the marketing director. Anybody who wants to find out more, please get in touch with Colleen directly. I think this is a fantastic offering. Thank you very much for concluding all of our brilliant speakers this morning. It's always hard being the last one, but you delivered impeccably.